with Tom Elliott for the investment property perfectionists, WBP Property.
24 to 4 in a moment. I'll update you on the latest. There has been a 2-year battle against McDonald's out there in Tecoma in the foothills of the Dandenongs. I'm amazed it's taken this long. The locals say they don't want it, but part of me remembers that years ago people in Torquay said they didn't want a McDonald's, although McDonald's was built, and as far as I know, Torquay still exists. First up, shortly, 96900 693 outside Melbourne, 1332. As I mentioned just moments ago, the good people of Tecoma in the foothills of the Dandenongs are still protesting. They've been doing so for 2 years against plans by McDonald's to build a family restaurant there. Garry Muratore is a spokesperson for the No Maccas in the Hills group, and he joins us now. Good afternoon, Garry.
Tom, thanks for having me.
Now, I'm amazed after 2 years that this issue has not been yet brought to a head. Well, what's the latest?
Well, we're not going to go away. You're probably aware of the history. McDonald's proposed to build a store basically 800 metres from a national park. We think it will be the closest McDonald's store to a national park anywhere in Australia. It's 100 metres from a kindergarten. It's 150 metres from a primary school. It's the first bus stop from Upwey High. And it's at a point on Burwood Highway where the traffic funnels into one lane. So for those reasons, the locals just don't want it.
Surely the real reason is that you're being just a little bit snobby out there, aren't you? That you don't think that you really want the sorts of people in Tecoma who like to eat at McDonald's?
Oh, look, if people want to eat at McDonald's, like we've said right from the start, we're not anti-McDonald's per se. But if you want to go to McDonald's, it's just 5 minutes down the road in Ferntree Gully in an appropriate place. So what we're saying is where they want to build here in Tecoma, close to a school, close to a kindergarten, close to a national park, is inappropriate.
If it was just a little cafe selling gourmet hamburgers and maybe, I don't know, homemade cakes and things like that, would you have the same objection?
Absolutely not at all. I mean, if this is a gourmet place like that, they wouldn't be operating 24/7. They wouldn't have a drive-through, and that's a big critical part of McDonald's business plan is they want a drive-through.
What's the problem with that?
Traffic, litter, and the unsocial element that these sort of places tend to attract.
But I just can't help but think you're being again a bit snobby, a bit precious about it. I mean, if no one in Tecoma wants to go to McDonald's, then it will soon go bust and it'll be knocked down and it'll be taken away. That happened in the 1980s. There was a McDonald's on Lygon Street, as I recall, and it didn't do so well because of all the cafes and things around there. So McDonald's shut it down. But I mean, are you worried that it might actually prove to be popular in Tecoma?
Not at all. Look, McDonald's, when they started to get some flack about this last year, put out a press statement to say that they had a huge amount of support across the hills. And we just shook our heads. We couldn't find anybody. So we actually did our own survey and knocked on the door of everybody in Tecoma, and we found that 92.8% of people don't want this. So we know the locals won't support it.
Well, so where will the traffic come from?
If you don't mind me saying,
okay.
What McDonald's want is they're looking for the tourist traffic to come up here. So for all those small Devonshire tea places, the small pubs, the small cafes, that's the business that McDonald's want to snatch from them. Small businesses across the hills that will suffer because of this.
Well, I think we have to agree to disagree. It seems to me if people want to eat at McDonald's, they should be allowed to. I don't really see the difference between a cafe and a Macca's, and I've been to both. I mean, I can see why, I don't know, people have to sort of demonise the big chains and everything, but the fact is, for a lot of people on low incomes, McDonald's is what they can afford. And, not everybody can afford to go to a cafe or a boutique restaurant or anything like that.
Look, I will agree with you, but as I say, it's 5 minutes down the road in an appropriate place, and this is not an appropriate place, Tom.
All right, we'll leave it there. Garry Muratore, spokesman for No Maccas in the Hills at Tecoma. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Tom.